Hi all, good evening. Welcome to Brilliance NEET classes. Today we will be discussing some sure shot questions from Plant Kingdom chapter. So I'll be telling some shortcut methods which can help you to easily remember the concepts and all. So let's start with our question discussion from Plant Kingdom chapter. First question. Which of the following system of classification involve use of one or few morphological characters for grouping organism? Actually, two types of classification is said in the beginning of the chapter. One is artificial and the second is natural. Artificial system of classification, they will be focusing only on one or few characters for classification. Because of that, they are more stable, but it contains very less information. And they won't be actually showing some evolutionary relationship between the organism, or they are not considering evolutionary features. So this type of classification is called artificial system of classification. So answer to this question is 1. Now what is natural system of classification? So difference between artificial and natural you should understand. In natural, they will be considering many characters. And here, they won't be much stable. And it is somewhat based on evolutionary features also. That is what we call it as natural system of classification. Example of natural system of classification is Bentham and Hooker's classification. Bentham and Hooker's classification, you can see, they will be considering many characters. They only classified the seed producing plants into 202 family, Gymnosperm, dicot and monocot. Like that, the classification was introduced by Bentham and Hooker. Then phylogenetic system of classification, scientists like Oswald Tipper and all, they actually classified the plants exactly based on evolutionary origin. That is phylogenetic classification. So I have said three types of classification here. One is artificial system. Artificial system, understand, it's not based on evolutionary feature. It will be considering only one or few character and it will be more stable. Example of artificial system of classification, Linnaeus classification. Linnaeus actually classified the plants only based on structure of stamen. His classification was also called sexual classification. So three classification, the difference you should understand. So artificial classification, you can write it, the example, that is Linnaeus classification, Carolus Linnaeus classification. Then natural system of classification example is Bentham and Hooker's classification. Then phylogenetic system of classification, Oswald Tipper's classification, which is not given in NCERT. So let me show the classification of plants. A flow chart you can draw and keep it. From that also you can attend many questions. So here plants has been divided into two. Kingdom Plantae have two subkingdom. One is Cryptogamy and Phanerogamy. Cryptogamy means you should understand the reproductive organ in these plants are hidden. So hidden sex organs are coming, that is called cryptogams. And if the reproductive organs or sex organs are visible, then it is called phanerogamy. And here cryptogamy would be including three types of plants. It will be including the Thallophyta, that include algae, and it also would be including Bryophyta and pteridophyta. These three are actually coming under cryptogamy, because in these three plants the reproductive structures are not visible. That is why they are kept under cryptogamy. Whereas the phanerogamy would be including two plants. One is Gymnosperm and the other is Angiosperm. So these two are actually coming under phanerogamy. Now let me show one more flow chart that will show the 5 divisions coming under Plantae and what are the characters based upon which we are grouping the plants in these 5 divisions. After that I will ask some questions also. Hope you will answer it. So here plant A has been divided first on the basis of embryo, those plants in which there is no embryo. That means after forming the zygote, if they are not producing the embryo, we will be keeping these plants under Thallophyta, and if they are producing the embryo, we can keep it under Embryophytes. These embryophytes, if they are not having vascular system, then they can be placed under Bryophytes, and if they are having vascular system, we call it as Tracheophytes. So vascular system is present, we call it as Tracheophytes, and in vascular system is present, but if the seed is absent, then they can be placed under Pteridophytes. Then if the seed is present, but if the seed is uncovered or it is naked, if the seed is naked or it's not covered by a coat and all, then we will be placing it under Gymnosperm. But if the seed is covered, then it is placed under Angiosperm. So why I made this flowchart, there is a question. Name the vascular cryptogam. So cryptogamy in this flowchart is including Thallophyta, Bryophyta and Pteridophyta. So from this, which is the vascular cryptogam according to this chart? Can you please answer? I'm waiting for the answers. You can comment the answer. Name the vascular cryptogams. So from the, yes, Hafiz, very good. Hafiz has given the answer. The answer is Pteridophytes. So Pteridophytes are actually coming under vascular cryptogams. Cryptogamy was including Thallophyta, Bryophyta and Pteridophyta. Out of that three, you can see the one which is having the xylem and phloem is only Pteridophytes. Now let's go for the next question. Which is true about numerical taxonomy? So three more types of taxonomy is given in NCERT: chemotaxonomy, cytotaxonomy and numerical taxonomy. Chemotaxonomy, you can see Sanjay has also given the answer. Now only I have seen it. Very good. So here chemotaxonomy is based on chemical constitution. That means in a cell we will be checking the DNA, RNA, etc., the similarities and all, or the proteins or the carbohydrate for classification. That is called chemotaxonomy. In cytotaxonomy we will be checking cytological information. And numerical taxonomy, we will be taking all characters into account for classification. Each and every character is given an equal weightage in classification. And we will be just entering some characters code into some computer program for classification. Just we have to enter which type of root is present. If it is taproot, code number 1. If it is fibrous root, code number 2. And if it is not having the root, code number 3. Like that, you have to just enter information about each characters that is found in a plant. And you will be getting complete information regarding the plant. That type of taxonomy is called numerical taxonomy. So in numerical taxonomy, equal importance is given to each character and it's based on all the observable character, and it is done using computer program. You just have to enter the information and you can classify it easily. And at the same time, few characters are considered is wrong. Actually all the characters are considered. So answer to this question is 4. A, B and C. These all are coming under numerical taxonomy. So hope you understood chemotaxonomy, cytotaxonomy and numerical taxonomy. Now next question. Correctly match the following columns and select the suitable option. So here green algae, brown algae and red algae has been given. So how easily you can learn it. Understand, in all the algae, whether it is green algae, whether it is brown algae, Phaeophyceae, and whether it is red algae, Rhodophyceae, in all the three algae, two pigments are common, that is chlorophyll A and carotene. These two pigments are common in these three algae. Now, what are the additional pigments coming in them? If you take chlorophyll, you can see there is chlorophyll B, chlorophyll C, chlorophyll D. Like that you learn. So in green, brown and red algae, there is this chlorophyll A and carotene. In addition, they are also having chlorophyll B, C, D. That order you remember. Then what are the additional pigments coming other than B, C, D? Xanthophyll is present in green algae. Brown algae, the color is due to a brown color pigment, that is fucoxanthin. And red algae, the color is due to the R-phycoerythrin. This is the red pigment. So these are the pigments that are coming in algae. So learn this table nicely. You can easily crack many questions. Now, the second thing that is asked in the question is stored food. So basically algae is classified into three, mainly based on the pigments. Second only, they will be checking what is the cell wall made up of, or which all stored food is coming in the algae and all will be checked. So based on three things, algae is classified into three. One is pigment, second is cell wall composition, and third you can see it is also considering the stored food in the algae. Now one question let me ask. So here green algae, you can see the main pigment that is coming is chlorophyll A and chlorophyll B. So 1B is coming. Then brown algae, chlorophyll C and fucoxanthin. Chlorophyll A and C is written here. So 2C is coming. Red algae, it is chlorophyll A and chlorophyll D. So it is 3 A is coming. Then of course 4 should be D. Only chlorophyll A is coming in the blue-green algae. Now we have to check what is the stored food that is coming in this algae. In green algae, food is stored in a structure called chloroplast. In the chloroplast, the food is present in a structure called pyrenoids, that you should remember. In the pyrenoid itself, the food is stored as starch and oil. Even proteins are also present in the pyrenoids. So in the chloroplast of this green algae, you can see the food is stored in a structure called pyrenoids. Pyrenoids will be having starch beside protein, and some oil is also present. Then coming to brown algae, the food is mainly stored as laminarin and mannitol. So there is laminarin and there is mannitol. That is the stored food that is coming in brown algae. Coming to red algae, you can see they will be stored as Floridian starch. Floridian starch resemble glycogen. And the glycogen, you know, it is also resembling what? Amylopectin. So you learn biomolecules also. Can you tell which bond is coming in glycogen or amylopectin? It's a polysaccharide. It's made up of glucose and it is joined by which bond? Can you please make a comment? Sri Veda, Hafiz, Albi, Sanjay, all are here. So if you know the answer, you should make a comment. Glycogen and amylopectin, you can see it's a polysaccharide. It's a branched form of glucose. It's forming a helix. In that you can see glycosidic bond, we know, in between which two carbon? Sanjay said it is glycosidic bond. Okay, it is correct only. My question, it's connected by which carbon? C1 with C4. Hafiz said C1 with C6 also. That is wrong. Okay, that is correct. So here it's a branched chain of glucose. where you can see amylose is having C1 with C4, amylopectin is having a branched chain of glucose where they are joined to each other with C1, C4 and C1 with C6 also. So Hafiz answer is correct. First person to answer the question is Hafiz. So here Floridian starch is resembling glycogen or amylopectin, which is a branched chain of glucose where you can see the glucose is joined to each other not only by 1,4 bond, it's also with 1,6. So these are the key points regarding the pigments and stored food in algae. So since I said this much, we will discuss about cell wall also. Before that, let's check this. So in green algae, the food is stored as starch, 1Br. Then in brown algae, the food is stored as what? Laminarin and mannitol, 2CP. Then red algae, the food is stored as Floridian starch, 3AS. Then finally, cyanophycean starch is the stored food in blue-green algae. And the option which is giving the correct answer is 3. So in 3 only we are getting the correct answer. So this type of match the following questions also would be there. Shall I proceed? Now, when you are making the note, it's better to make a table form and compare and learn about these 3 algae. Now next is, read the following statement and answer the questions given below. Vegetative reproduction usually takes place by fragmentation. When you are learning that in algae, please do remember the filamentous algae is undergoing fragmentation, not the unicellular form. And asexually they reproduce by zoospore. A main point regarding that, the most common method of asexual reproduction in algae is by zoospore formation. Motile spores are called zoospores. Sriveda Hafiz has given the answer already. Then pyrenoids are present. Pyrenoid is coming means no need to go through other option itself. You can directly answer it is Chlorophyceae, that is green algae. So pyrenoids contain protein besides starch. Which one of the option is correctly matched with all the given things? So here asexual reproduction is by zoospore, which is having 2 to 8 flagella. And if it is having 2 unequal lateral flagella, in which algae this is found? Can you comment? In which algae the zoospores are having 2 flagella, that is from lateral position, we can call it heterocont, and it will be dissimilar in size also. Samuel has given the answer. First answer is given by Samuel. Brown algae. Brown algae is having 2 unequal lateral flagella. And which members the motile forms are absent? One more question. In which members? Phaeophyceae only you said the answer is Phaeophyceae. Now next question. In which members of algae the flagella is absent? Samuel has given the answer red algae. First answer by Samuel. Rhodophyceae, the motile stages are completely absent. So I said 3 difference now also. 2 to 8 flagella is found if motility is present in Chlorophyceae. Only 2 unequal lateral flagella that is found in Phaeophyceae, and no motile stage is observed in Rhodophyceae. One more thing, diatoms are also not producing any flagella. Cyanobacteria also doesn't have motile stage. So a key point you can write and keep, in blue-green algae and red algae, the motility is completely absent. Can you tell the cell wall composition also? What is the cell wall material that is coming in Chlorophyceae, Phaeophyceae, Rhodophyceae? Which one is having inner cellulose with outer pectose? Which one is having inner cellulose with outer pectose? green algae. Chlorophyceae is having inner cellulose and outer pectose, and Phaeophyceae, which algae contain algin in the outer layer? Phaeophyceae inner cellulose and outer algin is coming, and Rhodophyceae inner cellulose, outer pectin with polysulfite esters. So these also you have to learn correctly regarding the algae. Next one, unicellular organism rich in proteins are. This is from biological classification as well as this is from the plant kingdom. So you already learned it in microbes chapter also, single cell protein tablets making and all. We are using two algae. One is chlorella and the other is spirulina. Spirulina is coming under cyanobacteria. So please learn it. Spirulina is coming under cyanobacteria, whereas chlorella is a unicellular motile algae. Now it is removed from Plantae and it is kept under Protista. So that is a previous year question also. If you check the previous year question bank which I have sent you, you can see the chlorella and chlamydomonas have been shifted from Plantae. From Chlorophyceae they have been removed. Now they have been placed under Protista. Next one. Select the correct statement. First of all, let me tell what is isogamy, anisogamy and oogamy. So this question is regarding isogamy, anisogamy and oogamy. So in isogamy, you can see the male gamete as well as the female gamete will be looking similar. So similar type of gametes are there, male as well as female gametes are looking similar. Either they are non-motile or both of them are motile. If these are fusing, that is called isogamy. So NCERT clearly said non-flagellated gametes are actually observed in Spirogyra. Filamentous green algae is Spirogyra, whereas flagellated male and female gametes are observed in Ulothrix. Ulothrix is also a filamentous green algae. Then what is anisogamy? Anisogamy, you should understand, male and female gamete will be looking different in appearance. They will be dissimilar. Either both are motile or both are non-motile. If they are fusing, that is called anisogamy. So isogamy show similar looking gametes. It's called homogamete or isogamete. Example, Spirogyra, Ulothrix, Chlamydomonas, certain species are there. Then anisogamy NCERT has said about Eudorina, but they never said Eudorina belongs to which one. Eudorina, when you are learning, please learn it's a colonial green algae. Like Volvox, Eudorina is also a colonial green algae. Then in oogamy, male gamete is small and motile, female gamete is large and non-motile. Example, fucus. Even reproduction in organism in grade 12 NCERT, they have written about fucus. So learn these examples correctly. Now let's check the statement. Chlamydomonas exhibit isogamy while fucus exhibit oogamy. That is correct statement. Isogametes are generally similar in structure, function and behavior. Isogametes differ either. Iso means similar, so if they tell differ and all, that statement is wrong. In oogamy, female gamete is smaller, that is wrong. Female gamete is larger and non-motile, while male gamete is smaller and motile. So only the first two statements are correct given in this question. So please do learn the questions nicely coming from isogamy, anisogamy and oogamy. Now next is identify the following figure. How many label parts belongs to dominant stage of the life cycle of this plant? So here the funaria diagram and all, Moses diagram and all, that is given in NCERT. So there you have to learn about gametophytic and sporophytic generation, which can be little bit confusing. We can easily sort it out by learning a particular diagram. That diagram is entirely missing in NCERT. So let's discuss a diagram given in NCERT, then let's come back. So life cycle of mosses when you are taking, you can see this mosses will be having like this root-like, leaf-like and stem-like structure. In that the leaf-like structure is spirally coiled and they have a root-like structure which is multicellular and branched. So this is the main point you should remember regarding mosses. In mosses they will be having rhizoids. Rhizoids means they are root-like structure, they are multicellular, they are branched. And this main plant body is haploid. In that only gametes are produced. We call it gametophyte. At the apex of this only the sex organs are coming. So here at one apex, just imagine the male sex organ is present and the male sex organ that is coming at this apex, that is antheridia. Like this a globular structure is coming, that is antheridia, the male sex organ. Inside the antheridium you can see they will be having some cell. These cells are called antheridial mother cell. This antheridial mother cell is haploid and this cell will be undergoing mitosis and they will be giving rise to a biflagellate male gamete that is called antherozooid. Now at the apex here only the female reproductive organ is present. Female reproductive organ is flask shape and it will be producing the egg that is also haploid, and the female reproductive organ is called archegonia. So here the male gamete will be swimming and entering into the female gamete. When this plant is immersed in the water, you can see the male gamete will be swimming and entering here, producing what? Later, inside the archegonia, they would be producing the zygote. So zygote represent a diploid cell. Zygote is diploid. So all diploid structure which can later form the spore, that is called sporophyte. So whatever I have drawn in white color, it represents gametophyte generation. Whatever I am drawing in yellow color, that represents spore producing generation, that is sporophyte. Now this zygote inside this archegonia, they will be developing into embryo. So in plant kingdom, first plants to produce the embryo, which one is that? Bryophytes. So bryophytes are the first plants to produce embryo. Now all these are happening inside here only. I already said in the beginning, bryophytes, they are coming under cryptogamy. Sex organs are not visible because it is hidden inside the plant. So inside the plant only archegonia is present. Inside that only zygote is formed. Zygote is developing into embryo. Next diagram is the question. So in the next diagram, from this plant represent what? Gametophyte, the haploid structure. This is the gametophyte. You can see inside the archegonia of this plant here, the zygote develop into embryo and the embryo will be coming out forming a structure like this. This structure is called foot, seta and capsule. So whatever I am drawing in yellow color, that is haploid, and this will be representing gametophyte. And inside the capsule only they are having spore mother cell. This spore mother cell inside the capsule, they undergo meiosis, and after undergoing meiosis inside the capsule they will be giving rise to haploid spores. And the spores, when falling in the soil, they will be forming. So spores represent first cell of gametophyte. Gametophyte means, understand, haploid structure which later form the gamete is called gametophyte. So gametophytic generation, first cell is spore. And this spore will turn into a creeping green colored structure. This creeping green colored structure is called protonema. This protonema can undergo what? They can undergo budding or they can undergo fragmentation. This statement is there in Living World chapter also. Protonema of mosses undergo fragmentation. So this life cycle, if you know, you can crack the question. So that yellow color is representing sporophytic generation that is attached on the gametophytic generation. So main plant body is a gametophyte, haploid. On that only the diploid structure is arising out. That diagram has been asked here. So out of this given diagram, how many labeled parts belong to dominant stage? Dominant stage means main plant body. Main plant body of this is this much. Main plant body is gametophyte. From that arising the foot seta capsule, this represent sporophyte. So sporophyte is depending on the gametophyte in mosses, and it depends partially only. They are not actually depending for all the nutrients. They are depending only for the water and minerals. They are capable of performing photosynthesis. So in mosses, you should remember the sporophytic generation is partially depending on gametophytic generation. So gametophyte is represented by C, D and E. The answer is 2. I think many have answered it already. Now my question, one more question. From the diagram you should tell the answer. First statement, some statement I am going to tell, whether it is true or false you should tell. First cell of sporophyte is produced inside a gametophyte in mosses. First cell of sporophyte is produced inside a gametophyte in mosses. True. Hafiz has given the first answer. So here you can see zygote is the first cell of spore producing generation that is produced inside the archegonia, that is the female gametophyte present in this main plant. So it is a true statement. Sriveda, first cell is zygote, that is diploid, and it is the spore producing generation. It is produced inside the archegonia that represent the female gametophyte. So the statement is correct only. Hope you understood. Sanjay got it. Now next question. In mosses, the sporophytic generation depends on the gametophyte completely. Sporophytic generation depends on gametophyte completely. It's okay. Have you got it? Sporophytic generation, foot seta and capsule. Okay, Hafiz, Sanjay, Samuel, that is the answer. It is false. It's not completely depending, it's only partially depending. So I should tell foot seta and capsule, the sporophytic generation, it's a semi-parasite. They are not completely depending, they are only partially depending on this gametophytic generation. That's all. Then next question, in which plants of bryophytes the sporophyte is completely dependent on gametophyte? Can you tell? In which plants of bryophytes the sporophytic generation completely depend on the gametophyte? Very good, Sanjay. First answer by Sanjay. Sanjay has said it is liverworts. Samuel also. That is correct. So in liverworts and mosses, two difference let me tell. In mosses, the rhizoids are multicellular and branched. Coming to liverworts, you can see the rhizoids are unicellular and unbranched. Then second, in mosses, this spore producing generation, Futsita capsule, it's partially depending on this gametophytic generation. But in case of liverworts, it's completely depending. So like this, direct questions won't be there, they will be asking with example. For example, Funaria, the sporophytic generation completely depend on gametophytic, like that, and only the questions would be coming. So first thing you should understand, Funaria belongs to mosses. So they are asking about mosses. Like that only the questions would be coming. That's all about the NCERT simplified version of mosses, liverworts and bryophytes. This is the simplified version. Then in mosses only they have said they are having which structure? Protonema. Protonema stage is found only in mosses. Liverworts don't have this. So this is the simplified diagram that is missing in NCERT, but they have said the complete concept without this diagram. Next one, haplontic life cycle with zygotic meiosis. Zygotic meiosis means zygote never turns into embryo. I told in the beginning, in which organism zygote is never turning into embryo. Out of the 5 division, 1 division is not having embryo. Name it first. I'm waiting. Option 1, Sanjay, algae. Talophyta, they never produce embryo, which include algae. So in algae and all, they are without embryo. Then name the first embryophytes in the plant kingdom. First embryophytes. First embryo producing plants. Is it algae, bryophyte, pteridophyte, gymnosperm, angiosperm? Bryophytes. Hafiz has given the answer. Very good. Samuel also. Bryophytes are the first plants to produce embryo. Next one. In bryophytes, meiosis take place in. So according to our diagram, you can give the answer. In bryophytes, meiosis take place in. Is it taking place in the sex organ, or is it in the zygote, or is it in the protonema, or is it in the capsule? Hafiz, very good. So according to our diagram, we already discussed. In bryophyte, meiosis will be occurring inside the capsule. Hope you got it. So in the capsule, there is spore mother cell. They will be undergoing reduction division in order to form haploid spores, which when falling in the soil, they germinate and they will be giving rise to this creeping green color structure that is called protonema, which forms secondary protonema, and they will later undergo budding or fragmentation to produce the new plants. So this is the life cycle. Understand, they have half of the stage in haploid or gametophytic condition and the half of the stage in diploid. So life cycle of bryophytes are haplodiplondic. So main plant body is haploid, please do remember, and it is gametophyte. So here the answer is capsule. So inside the capsule only the meiosis will be taking place, especially in the spore mother cell. Now next question, in pteridophytes, reduction division occurs when? So pteridophytes life cycle also, let's have a discussion, then we will come back to this question. So most simplified form only. Okay, spores are formed is the answer. So some homosporous pteridophytes, let's have a discussion. So here I am discussing about life cycle of ferns. So when you are reading NCERT, they said they have adventitious root. The stem will be forming rhizome. From rhizome only you can see the roots are arising. So if the roots are arising from parts other than radicle, then we can call it as the adventitious root. So here they are the first true land plants. First land plants is bryophytes. First true land plant is pteridophytes, because they have vascular tissue, they have xylem and phloem, and the plant body is well differentiated into root, stem and leaf. And here in ferns you can see the leaves will be appearing like this. The leaves are very large. So like this is the structure of leaf. And in the leaf, if you take one of the leaf contains so many sporangia. So many sporangia will be coming in the leaf. This cluster of sporangia, what is the cluster of sporangia in the leaf called? So leaf with sporangia is called sporophyll. And in the sporophyll you can see they are having sporangia. And in the sporangia, what is present? In the sporangia they will be having some spore mother cell. The cluster of sporangia is called dash. Can you please give an answer? What is the cluster of sporangia called? All these sporangia clustering together is called sorus. Very good. Sanjay has given the answer. Cluster of sporangia is called sorus. Now, spore mother cell is diploid. They will undergo meiosis. In order to form haploid spores. These haploid spores, when falling in the soil, they would be giving rise to a heart-shaped prothallus. They will germinate and they will give rise to a heart-shaped structure. That heart-shaped structure is called prothallus. This prothallus will be producing archegonia with the egg, and they also produce antheridia which would be releasing out the male gamete. So hope you understood. Meiosis would be mainly taking place in the spore mother cell located in the sporophyll. So sporophyll will be producing spore mother cell that only undergo reduction division in order to form haploid spore. These spores, when liberated, when falling in some cool, damp, shady places, they will form a creeping green colored photosynthetic structure that is called prothallus. And in the prothallus they have the sex organ where male gametes are released. So male gamete released from one prothallus will enter into the archegonia of another prothallus, and inside that only they will be producing the first cell of diploid generation, that is sporophyte, zygote. Zygote will later turn into embryo. Then later you can see a new plant will start emerging out of the prothallus. At that time the prothallus would be degenerating. This is the life cycle of ferns. So you can see half of the stage is diploid, half of the stage is haploid. So they also have a haplodiploid type of life cycle. Hope you got it. Is it clear? Now from here itself I can ask many questions. Independent gametophyte and sporophyte generation is observed in ferns. Is it correct? The gametophytic generation, this one, whatever I have drawn with white color, and the spore producing generation, whatever I have drawn in yellow color, they are independent of each other. True. So like that many questions are coming. This diagram is also missing in NCERT. So this is the most simplified version. Just learn this diagram, then start attending the question. You can crack any questions. Then one more. The first cell of sporophyte is produced inside a female gametophyte or prothallus in homosporous pteridophytes. Is it correct? The first cell of sporophyte is produced in a female gametophyte located in the prothallus. That is also correct statement. So this is how the statements are coming. If the diagram is in the mind, we can easily do it. So learn the diagram first. Second example. So what I have drawn is the pteridophyte with big leaves and small stem, that is macrophyll, that is called macrophyll. If it is having small leaf and elongated stem, that is called microphyll. That example also please go through. So answer to the question, in pteridophytes, reduction division occurs when? Already we have shown it in the diagram. Reduction division is occurring in the spore mother cell during the formation of spores. So answer to this question is spores are formed at that time only the reduction division is taking place. Prothallus formation, it is mitosis. Sex organs are formed also mitosis. Gametes are formed also mitosis. That also if you want you can write and keep it in the diagram. So spores germinate by mitosis in order to form prothallus. In that formation of archegonia as well as antheridia, that is by mitosis. Even the gamete formation is also by mitosis. It's not meiosis. So meiosis is taking place only at the time of spore formation. Which of the following possess vascular tissue? Mosses are coming under Bryophyte. They have embryo but there is no vascular tissue. The first flow chart that we have written, just look at it, you will understand. Volvox, it is an algae. They don't have embryo, they don't have vascular tissue. Then ferns, they are the first true land plants to possess vascular tissue. So these are coming under pteridophytes. They are the first true land plants which will be producing the vascular tissue. Liverworts, they are coming under Bryophytes. Bryophytes have embryo but there is no vascular tissue. So that first chart is enough to solve such question. Then sometimes more examples only will be given. Now prothallus, just now we have discussed what is prothallus. Prothallus is photosynthetic tallogametophyte. So if you have any confusions in prothallus, just refer this diagram. It is a thalloid structure, heart-shaped structure, photosynthetic structure, and I have drawn it in that white line which represent gametophyte, the haploid structure. Next one, in pteridophyte, development of zygote into young embryo take place in which structure? Look at this diagram. Development of zygote into young embryo would be taking place in which structure? Archegonia. And archegonia represent female gametophyte. So that is the answer. So zygote is formed inside the female gametophyte, that is archegonia. Hafiz has given the answer. Now next question, Pinus. In Pinus, you know about Pinus. Pinus is coming under Gymnosperm. So what are the characters to place an organism under Gymnosperm? The first criteria, it should be having embryo. Second, vascular tissue. Third, seed should be present but it is not covered. Ovule should be exposed before and after fertilization. So this type only is coming under Gymnosperm. To example is Pinus and Cycas. That difference also you should learn. Pinus is monoecious. Monoecious means their sex organs, male corn, female corn, both are actually located in the same plant body. So they are monoecious. So Pinus, if you are taking, you can see in the same plant itself, both male corn is coming as well as, since sporophyte we are going to draw in yellow color. So in Pinus, the main plant body is a sporophyte which will be producing male corn as well as it is producing the female corn. So understand, Pinus is monoecious. They have both the sex organs coming inside the same plant, coming in the same plant. One more example of monoecious is Ricea. That also you should learn. In Ricea, that is an example of liverwort that is also monoecious. Both male and female sex organs are coming in the same thallus. Then Marchantia is there coming under liverworts, that is dioecious. Cycas also dioecious. Then male corn will be an aggregation of the microsporophyll. Microsporophyll means the one which is having microsporangia. Leaf with microsporangia is called microsporophyll. So one of the microsporophyll, let me draw like this. So this structure is coming here, like that many are there. So inside the microsporophyll, there is microsporangia. This microsporangia would be possessing microspore mother cell. This microspore mother cell, they will be undergoing meiosis in order to form the haploid spores. This haploid spore, so first they will be forming a microspore tetrad, or I should tell it's a pollen tetrad. Later they dissociate in order to form winged pollens. So these winged pollens are also observed in Gymnosperm. And two more points. In which Gymnosperm mycorrhizae is present? In which Gymnosperm mycorrhizae is present? Cycas, Pinus, both 1 and 2, none of the above. What can be the answer? Samuel, Pinus. So already we discussed it in biological classification. Close association of fungus with the root of higher plant is called mycorrhizae. So in case of Pinus, their roots are actually associated with some fungus. Around the roots you can see some fungus will be growing. This fungal growth helps them to protect from pathogen as well as helps in absorption of water and minerals. All these things the fungus is helping. This symbiotic association is called mycorrhizae. Then one more example from biological classification, coralloid root. Coralloid root, the concept is third in plant kingdom, where you can see the cycas, the root is associated with blue-green algae. My question, which blue-green algae is found in root of cycas? Biological classification, you learned a blue-green algae and that is found in the root of cycas. Can you name it? Anabina. Sanjay has given the answer. Anabina. Anabina cycadae is a blue-green algae that is found in the root of cycas. Now life cycle I am not taking further. Now coming to a short key cut. You can learn it for easily solving many questions. That means whenever you are learning main plant body and whenever you are learning life cycle, you can use this shortcut. This shortcut is enough to solve many questions. For example, algae, Bryophyte, pteridophyte, Gymnosperm and Angiosperm. So whenever you are learning this, understand in algae and Bryophyte, main plant body is haploid and they produce gamete. We can write it as gametophyte. Whereas pteridophyte, Gymnosperm or Angiosperm, main plant body if you are taking, you can see it is diploid. So the main plant body is sporophyte. Then coming to life cycle, when you are learning the life cycle, 3 algae you are learning: green algae, brown algae, red algae. Green algae has haplondic life cycle. That means majority time they are haploid. Brown algae and red algae, as well as Bryophyte and pteridophyte, they are having haplodiplondic life cycle. That means half of the stage in haploid condition, half in diploid condition. That is haplodiplondic. One exception I am putting in brown algae, that is fucus. Fucus alone is having diplondic life cycle. Even Gymnosperm and Angiosperm, mainly they are found in diploid stage. So this is the shortcut. So if you remember this, you can answer plenty of questions. And direct question don't expect. For example, I am giving a statement. In Funaria, the main plant body is a gametophyte and they follow haplodiplondic life cycle. If a statement is coming, you should understand Funaria belongs to Bryophyte, main plant body is gametophyte, and they are having haplodiplondic life cycle. Or else in Pinus, main plant body is a sporophyte and they have haplondic life cycle. Is it a correct statement? Can you tell? Main plant body is a sporophyte and they follow haplondic life cycle in Cycas and all. If I tell, is it right or wrong? False. Hafiz has given the answer here. You should understand the Cycas belongs to Gymnosperm, main plant body is diploid and it is sporophyte, and here they will be having diplondic life cycle. The main plant body, or majority time in their life, they are found in diploid stage. So it is diplondic. So this is how you can interpret the statement coming in this chapter. So that's all about shortcuts from algae, Bryophyte, pteridophyte. Gymnosperm life cycle I haven't given much. Then Angiosperm we will be discussing in sexual reproduction in flowering plants. And in Gymnosperm you should understand the endosperm is haploid and it is produced before fertilization. This structure also you should remember. So let me come back. Here you should understand the female corn will be having a structure like this. This structure is called ovule, that is coming in the megasporophyll. One of the megasporophyll I have drawn, that is the leaf producing megasporangia or ovule. Inside the ovule only there will be nucellus. In the nucellus only there is one cell that is turning into megaspore mother cell. This megaspore mother cell would be undergoing meiosis. After meiosis, they will be giving rise to 4 megaspore. In that 4 megaspore, you can see 3 of them will degenerate. One will become functional. When that is becoming functional, they will be repeatedly dividing in order to form a structure like this. All these are happening inside the ovule, which is exposed inside the female corn. So this structure that is produced is endosperm. So you should understand endosperm is produced in a gymnosperm before fertilization. So this is the structure of endosperm, and this endosperm is haploid and it is produced before fertilization. And in that 2 cells are actually turning into archegonial initial. And later inside this ovule you can see there will be a haploid endosperm, and inside the haploid endosperm around 2 to 8 archegonia will also be produced with an egg. So understand, endosperm is produced before fertilization inside the ovule in gymnosperm. In angiosperm, you know the endosperm is triploid. That is unique feature of angiosperm. But in gymnosperm, another unique feature, endosperm is haploid and it is formed before fertilization. So related to this concept, again so many questions we have to discuss in cell cycle chapter. So cell cycle, when we are entering, we will tell with some chromosome number in a angiosperm, gymnosperm, and ask what is the number of chromosome in the endosperm of gymnosperm, or what is the number of chromosome in the endosperm of a particular angiosperm. Like that, calculation questions will come. So at that moment it is better you have to learn it from here. So that's all about the question discussion and the shortcut methods, or else easily memorizing techniques from plant kingdom chapter. So these all diagrams are missing in NCERT, but they have given all the concepts. So it is better to learn these diagrams and understand it clearly and start solving the question bank. That's all for today. Bye all of you. Good night.
Brilliant Qatar, your trusted coaching partner for IIT, JEE, NEET, Science and Commerce tuitions with 10 years of excellence in quality training. Brilliant Qatar.